Hello everyone, welcome to Native Mobile Bits. In today's video, we are going to continue our Jetpack Compose series and we are going to implement navigation drawer in our Android application. If you are already familiar with our ongoing Jetpack Compose series, you are familiar with our application. We have this login and sign up flow implemented. We have also implemented state validation where we can validate the input entered by user at runtime. Okay, we have also divided our application into two layers, UI and data layer. If you have not seen the previous video, you can check out at my channel. And we have also implemented Firebase inside our application. And if we try to log in our application with the users we have created in our previous video where we was implementing Firebase, it will take us to the home screen, and there we have implemented scaffold inside our most recent video. Scaffold is basically a collection container you can think of, which can have one top application bar, which is kind of a toolbar. It can also has one bottom navigation bar and one navigation drawer. And I'm sure you are familiar with this hamburger icon. When we click on this, we want our navigation drawer to appear. So let's start implementing navigation drawer. And if you are not sure about any of the part inside our application, you can check out our previous video and then you can resume from this point. Okay, so let's close all of the files and let's open our home screen. Okay, this is the screen which we are seeing in the right side in our emulator. Let's make this as a starter screen so that every time when we launch our application for now while development, we see that our home screen is launching. Okay, now our home screen will launch, and inside our home screen we have this scaffold. This is a parent container where we want to add one navigation drawer. Okay, we have already implemented this top bar, which is kind of a toolbar we are seeing here right now, and we have one title, one hamburger icon and one logout button. Okay, now we are going to add one navigation drawer in today's video. Okay, so to add navigation drawer we need to use drawer content, this one. This will again take one utility function. Okay, and why it's taking one utility function, you can just go to the declaration of scaffold and you will see that all of these items we can add as a composable. If you want to add a top bar, which we added recently, we can add this as a composable. So if you will just go to our composable components file where we have all of our composable listed. Okay, so in last video we implemented this app toolbar, and inside this we have lots of things. If you just check it out, okay, and we are getting this application toolbar. Now we need to implement the same way one drawer content. This is a column scoped composable, so we need some kind of vertical arrangement inside our screen, right? One top header will be there, then some items will be there inside our navigation drawer, right? So to add this, we need to add few components. Let's say we need to add one component for header inside our navigation drawer. Then we need to add one component for rest of the body of the navigation drawer. Okay, so let's go to components file. Okay, let's start creating some components. Okay, so first of all we are going to add one composable, and let's create one function and let's call it as navigation drawer header. Okay, this is basically the top part which we will see inside our navigation header. Okay, and we can try to use a box composable here because we want to put some text on a screen or something like that. So let's start by creating one box. Okay, and we can add one modifier here, and let's say we want to add fill max width so that it can take entire width. Okay, and let's add little bit of padding here, and let's say we add 32 dp. All right, and for now we are adding this. We will modify this for sure, I think. And inside this let's add one text for now, and we can try to use the text component which we have created. Let's say heading text component. This is just having one text composable, and it has some kind of specific style, and we can just pass the value and it will just show us one heading text component. Okay, let's add this heading text component, and inside this let's say we are trying to add navigation header as the title for now. We can extract this to a string and it will just create one string for us, and now we are using the value via string resource. Okay, this is one normal box which we have created. Now if you want to add one image or something inside this, we can do that as well. Now we want to add some kind of item inside our navigation drawer, so we can create one another composable and we can call it navigation drawer body. Okay, and this body will have some kind of items which we can use to implement navigation or to show some different kind of information inside our screen. Okay, this is our new composable for navigation drawer body. So now we need to add some items in vertical orientation. So it can be a list of item which we want to show inside our navigation drawer. So we can use lazy column, and lazy column is like a list in vertical orientation. And if you want to use a list of horizontal orientation, we can use lazy row. But here we want to show items in vertical orientation, so we are going to use lazy column. Okay, inside this, let's add one modifier, and we'll just add modifier dot fill max width. Okay, and this is going to be our list view. This is the list equivalent in Jetpack Compose. Now our list needs some kind of data, right? So if we just want to show normal text, we can just create one string list and we can pass here. But let's say we want to create a list with custom items, right? So our item can have one text and one icon if you want to show it. So we can create one custom class for our items and we can pass a list of our custom item. To do that, let's come here and inside data, let's create one class navigation item. This is going to be one data class. Okay, and let's say our navigation item can have one title, so we are going to define one title. Okay, and let's say our navigation item will also have some kind of description, so we can add one string for description as well. It will obviously have one ID for item, so let's say we want to add item ID. Okay, this will again be of string in our case, and we can also add some kind of icon. Okay, and this will be of image vector, because in Jetpack Compose we can use vector for resource of our image composables. So now we need a list of navigation item for our lazy column, right? So let's add one parameter here, items, and this will be of type list of navigation item. Okay, and these items we will use inside our lazy column. So let's try to add this inside lazy column. So we can just use this items. Okay, and we can use one for each loop, so that for every item whatever we want to show on the screen we can design here, right? So let's create one more composable. Okay, and this composable is only going to be one row which we want to show inside our navigation drawer item, right? So if you are familiar with XML approach, we used to design one layout for a single row inside our recycler view or list view, right? This is going to be the same composable. Okay, so we are going to name it as navigation item row. Okay, so one row for our navigation item list we are going to design inside this composable. Okay, and let's say we are going to make this inside row composable, because our row we need inside a horizontal manner. Okay, we want to show one icon then one text for that row, so we are going to use one modifier in this row. Okay, and we will use modifier dot fill max width. Okay, because we need the entire width for that screen. Let's just modify the code style a little bit. Okay, and we are also going to add padding inside our row because we want to just enhance this little bit. Let's add padding for all sides and let's say 16 dp. Okay, so our row will have a padding of 16 dp, and now inside this we can add the text composable or some kind of icon to show based on our item, navigation item, right? So each row will have one parameter passed, and that will be one navigation item, right? So let's use this and add inside our navigation item row composable. So we'll use one parameter item of navigation item. Okay, we are going to use this, and we will use the data out of this like title and item ID, icon and description inside our row composable. So we are going to show the icon first. Okay, so we can use this icon composable. This is coming out of inbuilt Jetpack Compose UI. Okay, and we need to just pass the image vector. So we can just take this icon, which is kind of image vector from our navigation item. Okay, we have this added as a parameter, so we can just use item dot icon. For content description, we can just use this description which we have inside our navigation item. Okay, like this. So our icon is ready. Okay, so now we want to add one text here, so we can use our predefined text component. Okay, normal text component, and we just need to pass value which we can take out of item dot title. Okay, this is going to be our row, but we need to add some space in between little bit. So we have some padding, I think, inside our normal text component. No, we don't have. So what we can do, we can either add the padding and we can customize this, but make sure that does not affect it, right? Because this is used at multiple places. So what we can do, we can just add some space with the help of spacer, and we can just use modifier, and let's say we want to use some width for a space, so we can just use width and let's say 18 dp. Okay, some space will be there between this icon and this text. Okay, our row is ready. Now we need to use this navigation item row inside this for each loop. Okay, so the moment we add this row composable, it is showing one error that we can only use a composable function out of a composable function, right? But this items dot for each is not a composable function. Every lazy composable had some inbuilt items composable functions where we can pass the list of the items we need to show inside our composable. So first of all, let's modify this little bit. These are our navigation items, right? Navigation drawer items. So lazy composable has one composable function items, right? This one where we can pass the list of our menu items which we want to show, right? So we can use this, and inside this we can pass the list we want to show inside our composable, and then we need to use this scope. Okay, this is basically one lazy item scope, and then we don't need to use this for each and all. We can remove this. Okay, and we just want to show this row, right? So we can just add this inside the scope. Okay, and we can see that we are getting one navigation item out of this list we have provided. Okay, and that will be passed as a parameter to our navigation item row. Okay, so now we have our navigation drawer header and body ready. Inside navigation drawer body, we are just inflating this item, okay, which is a row eventually. And now we can utilize these component inside our home screen, and we can pass those things inside our drawer content, right? This is kind of a column scope by default, so we don't need to add any column here, because this is drawer content is basically a vertical orientation scoped composable, so automatically it will handle children. So we can just take the navigation drawer header, okay, we can add it here, and we can take our navigation drawer body, okay, and we can add it here. So now we need to pass one item list, right? One navigation item list, right, which we want to inflate eventually inside our navigation drawer. So we can add it here, but if you want to make our code clean, we can just create one view model. But as of now, we are just using sign up view model here. Let's refactor this little bit. So inside our data, we can just create home, and this will be a reference point for our home screen related data, right? So we can create one view model here, okay, and for that we can just use home view model, okay, and little bit more refactoration here, and we can create one new package, sign up, and let's move this sign up UI event and sign up view model inside sign up package, and we can just create one more package, login, and we can just move login UI event, login UI state inside login package. Okay, we can just take this login view model also inside login package. We are going to use MVVM and clean architecture in the upcoming videos, but for now to simplify it, we have created this data package. Inside this we have data related files for all of these routes. Okay, and for our home we are going to use this home view model. Let's use view model to extend it with. Okay, and what functionality we are using from sign up view model? As of now we are using, I think, logout. So this we can just take this, and we are only using this inside home screen. Okay, so we can just take this function and we can add it inside home view model first of all. Okay, sign up related functionality we have here inside our home screen. We need one tag, so let's just quickly take this, and instead of defining it from the scratch, let's add it with the home view model. Okay, now we need some kind of list for our navigation menu item, right? So we can just create one list here, and let's say navigation items list. Okay, and this will be a list of our own class, which is navigation item, right? This class we have created, it's kind of a pojo which is holding the data, and we can create the list here. So let's say we are going to add one navigation item for home screen. Okay, and title is home. Let's use named parameter as well. Let's take this to next line. Now for icons, we can use some predefined icons with the help of icons, which is coming out of Jetpack Compose material icons, and we can use default home icon. Okay, and let's say we want to add some description, so we can just add home screen. Okay, and for ID, item ID, we can just pass home screen. Okay, this is for our reference if we want to use the item ID and we want to perform some condition based on the item clicked, right? So we have added one item inside our navigation item list. Let's replicate for, let's say we want to add settings screens as well. So do we have any icon for settings? Yes, we have. We can add this for here as well. Okay, and let's say we want to add something for favorites. Do we have something for favorite icons? Yeah, we have. Okay, so we can add this. Okay, now we have our navigation item list ready, so we can just go to our home screen. First of all, let's use home view model now. Okay, let's remove this, and we can use home view model for logout as well. And for our navigation items, we can pass navigation item list. Now our navigation drawer is ready, right? But we want to show this navigation drawer when we click on this icon, hamburger icon, right? So we need to implement one click on this icon inside our top app bar, right? So we can just go to our component file, and this is our app toolbar, which is having this hamburger icon, right? So this is the icon we are using. This is navigation icon and all. So we need to add one click functionality here. So we can just wrap it inside icon button. Okay, and inside icon button we have this on click functionality. We can also use modifier, but I prefer using this. Okay, and let's say we take this, add it here inside icon button. So now whenever someone will click on this, we will get a callback inside this, and let's use one high order lambda here, and we'll call that high order function. We will just invoke this, and then we will pass to its parent, right? So navigation icon clicked, or let's say we use invoke this time, and we can just take this and we can add it here, navigation icon clicked function of type unit. Okay, now our app toolbar will be ready to get this callback. Okay, so we can come back to our home screen and we can just add it here, navigation item clicked. Okay, so whenever someone clicks on this, we will get this callback here, right? So we can just use drawer state with the help of scaffold, right? So for this we need to define one state. Now whenever this item is clicked, we will come here and we can open the drawer here, right? So we need to get this scaffold current state. For that, first of all, let's define one scaffold state. and we can use remember scaffold state. So if you go to the declaration, this is basically holding a scaffold state, and it has few parameters for drawer state and for our snack bar state as well. Okay, so we can use this to keep track like last time when user was in the application, so navigation drawer was open or closed, right? Something like that. So first of all, let's add this to our scaffold basically, and we need to add this. Okay, now inside our navigation item click, like if someone is clicking on this, we can open the navigation drawer with scaffold state dot drawer state, and we need to use this open. Now we are having some error here. If you just check, so it is telling that open is a suspend function, and we can call suspend function from coroutine scope itself. And if you are not familiar with coroutine, I am coming up with coroutines videos as well soon. For now, let's define one coroutine scope. Okay, and we can just use remember coroutine scope. Okay, we can use this coroutine scope for now, and inside this we can just use launch. Okay, now we have this coroutine scope, so we can call this suspend function from inside. Okay, and now that error is gone because this open is a suspend function, and we can only call the suspend function from coroutine scope or from another suspend function, right? So that's why we have created this. Okay, now let's run the application and we will see how it's looking. Okay, so our application is installed. So if we click on this icon, so this is the navigation header as of now, but this text and all are way too big. So let's modify this quickly, and we can just go to our app components. Okay, and let's minimize everything. Inside our navigation item row, we are using this normal text component. We can just use normal text composable here. Okay, and for value we have it as a key called text. Okay, so we can just use text style to add little bit of text functionality here. We can just use text style. Inside this we can use some color first of all. So let's say we want to use primary color, and let's use some kind of font style also. So let's say we are going to use font style normal. Okay, and let's say we want to also add some kind of shadow inside our text, so we can just use one shadow offset first of all. Okay, and we only need to use offset, and let's say we want to use 4f and 6f. And if you are not sure about offset and shadow in text, you can just check out this video of mine where I have explained everything about text composable, and I am sure this will be a very helpful video. Now we can use this shadow offset, okay, in shadow. Okay, so we just need to create one shadow object, and for color let's use black color itself, right? So we'll use black color, and then we are going to add some kind of shadow, right? So for shadow let's use primary color. Okay, so this is our final navigation item row. We have one row composable, then we have one icon. Okay, we have little bit of a space, and then we have one text. Okay, inside our text we are just using normal black color, and then we have one shadow, and we are using shadow offset with the help of x and y coordinate, that at what place I need to show shadow inside my text. Right now, before we run the application, let's change the color for this app toolbar also. So let's close all the files. Let's go to our app components and minimize everything. We have this component app toolbar, right? So inside app toolbar we have title, icon and actions. Okay, so first of all let's use background color, and we are going to use primary color. Okay, we want to just run the application and see now how this color and gradient is looking first of all. Okay, this is looking nice, and if we open the navigation drawer, it is having the gradient as well, but still we can modify it little bit more. Okay, so this text is pretty big, right? So first of all, let's use one normal basic text. Let's extract this inside one new composable. Okay, let's create one function, navigation drawer text. Okay, and I have added it here. We just need to pass one title. Okay, and this is going to be of type string, and let's use it here. Okay, we need offset as well, so we can just extract this and add inside our text composable itself, because we want to add shadow to this text. That's why we have added offset also here. Okay, now let's try to use it inside our row first of all. Okay, so we are just going to edit item dot title like this. Now let's say we want to make this font size also dynamic, right? So we can just add it here. Okay, and we can add it as a parameter, so it is just taking text unit. So let's say we are just writing it as a parameter, and then we are just setting it inside font size, right? So now we can utilize this text component inside our header as well, right? So we just need to pass this string resource. Okay, and we can remove this. So now we have one navigation row text, and let's say we want to make it around 24 sp. Okay, now we can run the application, and our navigation row will be much better now. Okay, now our navigation row is looking much better, right? And we'll just make the entire row clickable. So we can just add modifier dot clickable. Okay, and inside this we will just add one lambda, and let's say on navigation item click. Okay, on navigation item clicked dot invoke, we'll just call this, we'll add this as a high order function here, and we'll utilize this callback inside its parent. Okay, so let's go to the parent, and from here also let's add this, and we'll pass this to its parent also. So let's add it here. Then we are using this navigation row body, right? So now whenever someone clicks on any of this item, this callback will be passed from row to its parent, and then from its parent to the place where we are using these composables, right? So we can just add it here. Okay, so now let's say we want to pass which item is clicked, right, inside this click event. So we can just use this item, and we can pass inside invoke. We can just add a type here, navigation item. We also need to add that item here, right? Now we'll be able to get the navigation item. Okay, so we can just add one log. Okay, and let's say coming here inside navigation item clicked. Okay, and what is the navigation item which is clicked? So for that we can just utilize it dot item id, and we can just add it dot title. Okay, now if we just run the application, we will be just getting to know which item is clicked, right? So if we just open our logcat, we clear everything, we click. Okay, so we can just see that we are getting these logs. Okay, that home screen is the id and title is home, this is clicked, right? But before that, if we just try to see, only this much space our row is having. So this is because before clickable we have the padding. If we just take this, and after clickable we add this, so entire space will be clickable. In Jetpack Compose, order of these parameters are very crucial. So just make a note of it. If we click now, you can see the entire row is having the clickable effect, right? Okay, so our navigation drawer implementation is done now, but I will tell you one pro tip. Okay, so this is the navigation drawer. We can click on this hamburger icon and our navigation drawer will show up. But by default, scaffold has one key, navigation drawer gesture enabled. Okay, so if you swipe somewhere, this will come up, because by default this drawer gesture enabled is true. But if you want to make sure that user can only see the drawer by clicking on that hamburger icon, and then they can, dismiss this, so you can use this inside your home screen scaffold, and you can use scaffold state dot drawer state and dot is open. Okay, so this means that if our drawer is in open state, then only the gesture will be enabled. By default, if you try to use gesture, drawer is not coming up, right? But if your drawer is in open state, then this gesture will be enabled and you can just swipe it up to dismiss it, right? But you cannot bring it up with the gesture, right? Because if your drawer state is open, then you can use this way you can make sure that user will be able to see the navigation drawer if they click on this hamburger icon. But once this drawer is in open state, they can use gesture to dismiss it. In the next video, I will show you how we can add different screen and how we can link them with our navigation item clicks. So if we click any item inside our navigation drawer, how we can navigate to a different screen. So friends, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this part, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Also, please make sure to share it with your friends who are learning Android or who want to learn Android. Okay, I will see you in the next video.